One man is dead and three police officers are wounded after a shooting attack at a free speech event in the Danish capital, Copenhagen. The event was organized by controversial Swedish artist Lars Vilks. Vilks has faced threats since he published drawings depicting the Prophet Muhammad in 2007. Tom Carstensen is a freelance reporter. He joins us on the phone now from Copenhagen. So, Tom, what's the latest on the situation?
Well, the latest is that the getaway car has been found about 2 kilometers from the scene, empty. It was left, of course, by the two suspects who are there now. They're now searching for them right now in a nearby park, I think. There's going to be a press conference very soon with the latest from the Danish police. The two out of the 3 police officers you mentioned were not actually normal police. They were security service because there was a lot of security there because they were worried about what would happen or something could happen.
And so tell us a little bit about what exactly was taking place. What was this event all about?
Well, it was a symposium of freedom of speech, it was called. It was organized by a very liberal left-wing newspaper in the wake of the massacre in Paris recently. I mean, the French ambassador was there as well because of that, and also Vilks, who you mentioned, who's a very controversial character because he depicted the Prophet Muhammad as a dog, which obviously angered quite a few people. So they were meeting, discussing freedom of speech. You also had I think one of the Pussycat Riots activists from Russia were there as well. And Femen, the feminist group as well. So, yeah.
And what can you tell us? Because, you know, we were just showing some of these images that are just coming into our newsroom now of the venue, and we can see there are bullet holes through the windows there. So what do we know about those who are injured or killed?
Well, the man who was killed was 40 years old. He hasn't been identified yet, but he was not a police officer. He's a civilian, but they don't know who he is. And the injured were 3 police, but 2 of them, one was normal police, or what you want to call it, and the last 2 were from PET, which is the security service. It's similar to the FBI in America.
And then finally, let me just ask you, you know, given what happened in France, you know, what's the mood been like in Copenhagen as a result of this?
Well, honestly, I think for quite a few years, many of us have just been waiting for something to happen. And a lot of terrorist attacks have been foiled in Denmark. The police have done a great job over the last 10 years since the Mohammed cartoons. So I think a lot of us were waiting for something to go wrong, to be honest.
And then finally, at this point, what do we know about this search for these individuals, who they may be, where they may be going?
We've no idea where they may be going, but they both spoke Danish, but were described as having dark skins. They could, but I don't know. They haven't said exactly where they're from, but dark skin, but speaking Danish. Around 30 years old. One of them has been described as around 30 years old. But where they're going, we don't know.
All right, Tom, we appreciate your report. Thank you very much. That's Tom Carstensen, a freelance reporter in Copenhagen, Denmark.